Now we're going to tie this all together with the hair. Now, first of all, I'm using 233 here. And what I want to do first of all is to cut round and make some kind of design for the bonnet. We don't want it to be straight. That's the last thing we want. We want it to have a natural flow to it. You're going to love this. I'm looking forward to it immensely, because this is one of those things that it tests you, both in patience and ability. And I have the added advantage, if you like, or privilege, if you like, of being able to demonstrate to you how I feel this should be. So it adds a little bit of extra pressure on me. You see how much time I've taken just to do that. But I think in the end you'll see why all this was necessary, and you can judge for yourself if it's all worth it. Now, there we are. Now that's how I see it. Okay, now we've got to go around the other way now. So this is going to look a bit silly, because the grey against that skin is not going to work very well. But the grey is an undercolour. It's a colour that we're going to be using as a softening or quietening effect, depends how you view it, to the browns that are going on. And you could say to me, well, if she's got brown hair, which she has, why don't you just put brown on? Why are you fiddling about with the grey? Well, you don't have to do that. If you want to, you can put the brown on. But my experience tells me that by putting grey on, like I am here, gives the brown a softer look. Okay, now that's fine. Now basically I have to fill this in, folks. I don't think there's any point at the moment in trying to think, oh, well, what about the shape? Because all this grey is going to disappear once we put the brown on. So all I'm doing at the moment is filling it up, not paying any attention to direction of hair or highlights. Forget them. Now you'll notice also, while I'm doing this, if you look back on what I've done here, there's an area here which seems to be, it looks like a wig that's going on. And if you've seen me do this before, you already know why I do what I do and how I'm going to make sure that doesn't look like a wig. It's really interesting. This is why portrait work is so rewarding. It is hard, as I've said so many times, but by golly, the rewards you get. First of all in doing it, and then seeing the end product emerge at the end of the day. There's nothing like it. But it takes up quite a lot of courage when you're coming from animals or landscape or any other type of subject. And going to portrait work, you think, oh my God, I'll never get this. It depends how much you, first of all, love it and actually want to stick to it. Now, this is also really weird because we've got grey against this dark. Now I'm going to darken the hair and I'm going to darken this, and in fact you won't really see a hairline when I finish this. Hard to imagine at this stage, but you've got advantage over me, and you've seen what this looks like at the end by having a reference picture. I can't see that. But there we are now. I haven't pressed hard here, and the reason I haven't pressed hard is because we don't want to crush the paper, as you know. But I'm filling it up as much as I can before the next colour goes on. Now what I'm doing is try to think of the next colour I'm going to use. We've got brown hair, or brunette hair, but I want to make it as pretty as I can. So you've got a couple of seconds now before I show you what colour is. I don't think we need grey again, so that can go Now, isn't that weird? The colour is going to be 283. There goes on top of the grey. Now, although it doesn't look it, when I blend this eventually, it's when I get the next colour on, we'll be blending it, you will find that the grey, the 283, and the next colour will all merge together. Once again, you'll notice I'm not giving any... Oh, no, that was a mistake. Shouldn't have done that. That's supposed to be white. See if I can get away with that. If I can, I'll do it. If you have to rub it out, we have to rub it out, but I don't have to now. I've got away with that. I wasn't focusing as much as I should have done then. Yes, I'm not trying too hard at the moment to work in any direction or pattern of the hair. All I'm interested in getting this tone on. But once this goes in, then we'll move on to the shaping the hair or putting a bit of style in it. Now that looks a bit better than it did before, because the grey is, although it's there, it doesn't show up. The brown shows up more. Now the next one is 177. Now this time, for the first time, I'm going to think hairstyle. Because an old-fashioned hairstyle, we can't have anything too modern. Okay, we just, instead of just willy-nilly going in, I'm just going to just strengthen some bits more than others. You also need, that's another, see, when you've got that little bit there, now what do you do with that? The problem is, if I was to use the white on that, it's going to mix with that. Now, do I need to, no, I think we've got to get rid of it. Might work, but it's a risk, you see. Where's my double-ended eraser? Here we are. It's a risk. So better than that really is to take it off. Like that. It's not worth the risk. And I'm just going to put just a little bit of 189 back in there, simply because you're going to have a little bit of white. Yes, it's going to be light in this corner, so just put a little bit more in there. Pick up my colour shaper. If it happens to you, you'll know how you can get out of that. A little bit more white because it's quite light on this edge here, like that. Now, where was I? Here. If you leave that and you rubbed it in and it gets a brown mark on it, you'd still have to rub it out, but it could be a bit awkward. Now you see, we've got little light areas. Now I'll either do something with them or not. I've got choices, because when I blend this, which will be the next operation after I finish this, we'll see. Now this is, we're also going to be bringing back in the 283, and also I'm going to be put another colour on top in the end, but we're a bit early. See, it's like curls there. That's what I'm trying to achieve. We haven't got a lot of hair, but whatever we've got there is important. I've done it again there, but actually that's not okay, because I need that kind of effect up there. Okay. And now you understand why I did that grey to start with. It gave me the design. You see that? How that works out. It could be that I need to go back into the bonnet again. I certainly go into the face again. Now down here it's not quite so critical, because all of this hair here is very dark. so we can have that hair being standing quite dark against the background. Good. Right, now the blender. I think probably what I'm going to do here is switch blenders. When you've got a very dark colour like that, it does need a little bit more effort and strength to push it in. So my colour shaper here would be perfect for it. I'm just going to blend it. What I'm trying to do now is imagine that I'm creating little curls, bit of design in the hair. You can see already it's working. And with a colour shaper it's handy because you can, with the pointed one anyway, you can come right close, but I'm also going to touch the ear in a minute. In fact, I'll do it now. I want that to be pulled down into the ear. Now you look at that and you think, oh blimey, it's right in the ear now. Well, I haven't, folks, because what I can do is pick up just a little bit of colour. 190, pick a bit of 190, pull it back again, just a little bit there, like that. And I shall be using a very, I'll do it now, I'll show you. This is black. I'll be putting some black on as well in the very darkest area. I might as well do this tiny bit, then you've got something to look at as I work my way round. Once again, grey colour shaper, push in to that. And now we have the ear receding under the hat, the colour. See that? And that comes down to there. Okay, let's carry on here. What I'm doing is pushing the colour into the pastel paper now. And it's like almost like a stabbing action. Rather than, if you blend everything, it all just goes together. So what we're looking for here is just a bit of design. It's amazing, isn't it, how that actually is beginning to work out. This is quite a long procedure, and I'm showing you all of it because it is difficult. And I don't think I'm going to be able to break off without you missing something. And we've still got other colours and other procedures, techniques to work on. Now here, it's interesting, we've got too much of a contrast between here. I'll show you how I get out of that in a minute. It's not until you put this on that you realise what you've got. Okay, that's not bad, but it's not right. Look at this and look at this. Now you can see what I did here. This is black now, and with the black we can now push home some of those stronger areas, still leaving the light. Again, I'll finish this bit to all intents and purposes and show you how this is actually going to work, and then you can see how I work going on along. I told you I was going to use another colour. Well, I am. This is going to be 187. 187. It's a little bit of a lighter version, really, of the 283, which I told you about. This is 283. We use the second colour. Now we've got 187, and you can see if you look at the end, the tonal value, I mean, it's obviously chalk and cheese as far as the actual light and dark side of it, but that's a darker version of that one. So now we can use 187, just a little bit of 187, to put just a little bit of life in the hair. You see how that's working? Then you come back in with the black and temper it a bit, like that. Now what makes that... No, let me just do a little bit more and then I can perhaps show you better. What's happening now, the light is hitting the hair more because this is under the bonnet, but now it's sort of pushing towards the front of the head. Now we've got dark here, But even when I'm putting black on, remember we've got all those colours underneath, so it's not going to look black. Well, I've gone nearly halfway now, so now I can just expand this for you a little bit. You see how that's now is looking much more natural. But what doesn't look natural is that. This is where the wig I was talking about comes in. So let's show you how we do that. I'm going to find my 189. It's amazing. I did use that just a minute ago, but I've now lost it again. Found it again. And then with the 189, we go right up to the edge. Now, this time I'm going to pull just a little bit of that colour off the edge of the hair. Just very lightly with your pencil. Pull it off. Like that. Right. And let's carry it. Oh, no, let me just do this first and then I can show you again. Now I'm going to use my 283. Just to make it just a little, it's exactly the same procedure off the end of that. Then now we switch back again to the colour shaper. Make it nice and clean. We're going on to the face this time. And just blend it. Same idea. And what you've got is a little shadow there. Don't worry if you've missed some of that. I'm going to do it again in a minute up there. Blend it into the face. And then you then bring the white back again and butt up to it. But we leave a very slight trace of shadow there. Let's do it again. One colour. 189. Touching and pulling down from the edge of the hair. There. 283. Colour shaper. Now, but you're thinking, what about under there, Cole? I've got something planned for that. And the white. And you'll see why I've done that now. Now, just here, I'm going to bring the white back up into that, really close, like that. Why'd you do that, Cole? I'll tell you why I've done that. That is going to be overhanging slightly. Let me just show you why and how that's going to work. The 189, again, just there, but then pull down to about there. Then 283, like that. Then the colour shaper, like that. You see the shadow we've got? And then the white comes back up, but this time we leave the shadow. So on this side we've got light, this side we've got it just a shade darker. Not much, but it gives the impression that that is coming forward. Now, I spent a long time on that, but I think you'll see it's worth it. What I'm going to do is that, but now I'm going to break off and not narrate it, and you'll see how that's all going to work out. Just one other small thing down here. I've got to come in with my white because it's much lighter, this part, where we have the, there we are, and that will fade into there. So I'll do that, stop, start, all the way around, but you can see how it's working. Just out of interest, you see, we have now, I've told you that, I might as well finish this off while I've got you here. I said that we would have to work on the bonnet now. Now watch this. Just in places, not everywhere. Sometimes it's quite lighter, but whatever happens, you've got to go along the edge. The reverse of what we did there. Otherwise it looks too artificial. We don't want any of that. Use 181 on that too, if you remember. So let me find me 181. And here we are, 181. And that gave me just a little bit more strength. I can do all of this along here as well, so it'll save some time. Do I want it on the ear side? No, I've already put that on there, haven't I? Do it again, Colin, make sure. And then we also used the 102. 102, Colin, here we are, 102. Because it had a very slightly greeny sort of look to it as well. Remember, I put it in here. And then the colour shaper. You always think it's too dark when you do this thing. That's ruined, isn't it? But it ain't, because when you bring the white back, you come up right close to it, but you don't actually go right to the edge. You get the shadow then, like that. You've really got to pull away from this to actually appreciate this more when you're close up. But if you were a bit close, further away, it would look different. And then you can just spot here and there a bit more black, just to put a little bit of shadow in there, like that. Now it looks lovely. So I'm going to do all of that, stop-start, folks.